Hi, everybody. So we're back for another episode of Ghost Experiences. And of course, as popular demand, I have here with us Panda, but I also have another special guest with us, and this is her husband. And I'm guessing that you're going to want to go by Drew.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to want to know. So how long have you guys known each other? How long have you guys been together?
So, we met a long time ago during one of our mutual friends' kids. I think it was seventh?
No, third birthday.
Third birthday, even less. And
She's now 7.
she's now 7, that's what it is. Okay. And it was a very brief interaction of, hey, do you mind giving her a ride to the party? And I was like, yeah, sure, okay. And so we went over there, picked her up, and did the normal small talk just to pass the time while we drove. Nothing came of it there. She was with somebody. I think I was with somebody at the time. And, yeah. And then fast forward to 3 years ago.
23?
2 years ago. Is that right?
So roughly, you guys have known each other for roughly about 2.5 some months.
We've been married a year in November.
Mm-hmm.
And we were together a year and a half before we got married.
So basically, just to kind of sums it up for everybody. So when you start, okay, so because Drew, you're the one that has the ghost experience, and you've given me a little bit of insight on this, and there may possibly, just a small glimpse for you guys, there may be possibly a bigger project in the work. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. So you guys have known each other well enough to know that basically you've been in his environment, you have experienced, he has told you, you guys, etc.
I experienced things before he told me.
Okay, so before we get into that, so you've had experiences and this would be your parents' house,
Yes.
correct? Okay, so you've had experiences in your parents' house before he even told you about his experiences being there.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty sure everybody out there is gonna be like, oh, which one's gonna go first? Okay, so how long have you been in your parents' house? Like when did your guys' parents buy the house?
As long as I remember.
As long as you remember. So basically you grew up pretty much your childhood, etc. So you've had pretty well, history being there.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and you tell us one of your first experiences.
Okay. And
then we'll jump over to Panda, and Panda can probably fill in the gaps. So then that way you guys can kind of tell everybody, like, how your experiences were matching up with his situation. And so how old were you whenever you had your first experience there?
Old enough to remember, but the exact age is unknown. If I had to wager a guess, I would say probably 7, 8, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And my first experience was probably dead of night. This is before I had a phone, so I don't even know what time it was. And I woke up from a dead sleep. My closet door has always been closed.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, I always got a bad feeling from it. Always, like, don't go in there kind of feeling.
Right.
And I would only go in there if I had to. That day, I wandered in there to grab something for my parents.
Right.
And I made sure to close the door because I always kept that door closed. Well, whenever I woke up that night, the door was slightly open. And
not alarming at all.
No, not alarming at all.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I didn't have sleep paralysis, mainly because I tucked my hands even further than what I normally do with the blanket.
Okay.
And because, natural kid reaction is to be scared.
Right.
Something abnormal happens and you don't know what's going on. So with that, as I'm like coming to of like, okay, there's nothing happening, little head pokes out.
Mm.
And Yeah.
Mm.
And it's completely like black mass. There is no like actual details to it
Right.
other than just the outline.
Mm.
And the best comparison I have is from a game, Kingdom Hearts, the little shadowling thing, one of the first things that you fight.
I'll show that on the screen. Okay.
Except for the little antennas, and it didn't
Okay.
have the little antennas,
Okay.
but it had the yellow eyes to match.
So not, not horrifying at all.
No, not
but
at all.
like, I mean, even for a child, like, yeah, that's mortifying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. So like, so from your perspective, so was it this consistent? Did it just keep happening?
From my memory, I only had like 3 interactions with this thing throughout my childhood, and this was the first one. And I remember just very scared, like 7-8-year-old voice, high pitched, going, "No."
Okay. So would you say so as a child, would you say that at that time you felt like it was something malevolent? Do you believe that it had ill intention, or that it was just like there?
So at the time, I didn't have any experience with this, and you
Right.
know, my first ever like supernatural whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel any negative intent from it,
Right.
but it definitely let me know that it was there.
So it made itself known, basically, is what you're saying. It said,
Yes.
"Hi, I'm here. How are you?"
Yes.
Okay, so what was your next experience? So you were about, you would say about 7 or 8 whenever your first experience. So how old were you on your next experience in the same house?
With the same house, I would say probably either late 8 or halfway through 9.
Okay, and so just to kind of catch everybody up, so you are how old right now?
I'm 30 now.
So you're 30 now. Oh my God. Okay, and so, okay, so and I don't remember. I don't know why I didn't remember that, because I think we've talked about this before. But something I am curious about. You had mentioned something about there was an older entity inside the house.
Yes.
Do you want to explain that?
So, we have a family name for him called the Grumpy Old Man.
Okay.
Main reason why, and whenever we get to Panda, I'm sure she'll tell you.
Yeah, no, I can see the look on her face. She's like, oh yeah.
But anybody who's ever had an interaction with him has described him in the same way. Where his body is kind of shadowy, formless, just kind of cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
He has like work boots, and a grumpy face. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't say anything. He just very grumpily stands there and looks at you.
So if you're a person that's not used to this encounter, it would be horrifying.
Yeah.
It would be horrifying, but if you're used to it, then you're just like, oh, hey, it's grump.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so what was your first experience meeting that entity as
Honestly, I think I'm the only person to have not a negative interaction with him, or I should say neutral, since nobody's really had a negative, just a bad feeling from him. But it's probably around the same time that I met the other entity that we have there.
And I think that you've mentioned this entity. If you want to go ahead and just, I guess, tell everybody that situation.
Okay. So, my first interaction with her is, there's a family name for her, the Blue Lady.
The Blue Lady.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like that name was told to me before I had this interaction. So I feel like it influenced my perception of her. because whenever I saw her, she was completely blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's the truth or if that's actually her.
Okay.
But she's a very nice spirit. She's a very loving spirit, almost like a motherly figure.
Okay.
And again, one night whenever I was sleeping, I woke up. But my body didn't wake up. I saw myself sleeping. And I was, as some would say, astral projecting.
Yes. Yeah. I will put the Wikipedia here for this if you, yeah. So.
And even as a kid, I had a very, like, analytical mind. And I wanted to look at myself. Like, oh, that's really cool. I see myself sleeping.
Right.
And so I start examining myself. And I hear her sigh.
So you hear her as you're astral projecting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I look over at her and I said, oh, hello. And she kind of like snaps out of zoning out. And she's like, you can see me?
So you had an actual ongoing personal experience.
Yes.
Okay.
And we started talking, chit-chatting. Just basically, I don't remember everything that was said, but it was basically the get to know you questions.
Okay. And you said that your parents that live in the house, they've had their experiences too.
Yes.
And those experiences corroborate with what you're saying as well.
Yes.
Okay. So, hi parents, I'm pretty sure at some point you guys are going to see this. So now back to the first entity. So the first entity, from just hypothetically from, my perspective, is that obviously if it was something like, let's say it was something demonic, right? There would be a lot more stuff happening. So me and Daniel's had conversations about this, physical attachments, there's all different kinds of stuff. Panda's aware of that as well. Mm-hmm. And ongoing. Now, as far as, what is his name again?
Grumpy old man.
Yeah, the grumpy old man. So there's a possibility that he is attached to that house, that environment. But I don't think he's malevolent. It could be that he's just there. Mm-hmm. He's confused. Yeah. But he's just grumpy. And everything, either that or he's probably like, crap, I'm still stuck here. And
could be that.
These people are in my house. And then as far as like the blue lady, I mean, she seems nice. She doesn't have any ill will. She seems like somebody that would be almost like, let's say, a guardian versus anything else. So, now, how did you have your experiences, Panda?
So, my first experiences, when we had, this is before we were actually dating, and everything, I had gone over to his house and watched a movie with him. He'd invited me over to watch a movie, and we had fallen asleep on the couch. Mm-hmm. He had gotten up.
Why is it that you started talking and there's like static in the microphone? Sorry. No, it's fine. Does everybody remember that one episode where it was like she hasn't touched anything, but like suddenly there's like static. I'm dead serious. There's static. Okay, continue.
He had gotten up. He had gotten me his blanket and his pillow from his room and had just gone to sleep in his room and left me on the couch. Well,
I'm dead serious. Do you want to hear this? Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't want you to think that I'm making this up. Like, just talk, Panda, talk.
Okay, I'm talking. But,
do you hear what I'm saying? Like, it didn't happen at all. It didn't.
That's weird.
Sorry.
I think you're a magnet.
Sorry.
Like, something's.
But he had gone back to sleep in his room, and at some point in the middle of the night, I woke up. Mm-hmm. So, whenever I woke up, I had this really uncomfortable feeling of being watched. So, my head was pointed toward the hallway. Mm-hmm. And, whenever I woke up, I just laid there. I laid with my eyes open, and all I could feel and like from the corner of my eye see was this dark figure just basically like leaning over at the head of the couch, just
staring at you.
Just staring at me. Like, I was not supposed to be there. It didn't like me there. And everything like that. So I just laid there. But at the same time, I wasn't scared because at the end of the couch,
Right.
there was a protective, comforting feeling, and I felt like I had a hand on my leg. And so I wasn't scared, I just felt really uncomfortable.
As you can tell, my mouth is just
Yeah.
open more. Okay, yeah.
So, and after a while, like, I felt the hand just, like, do the...
Yeah.
And then I drifted back off to sleep.
So it, again, like I said, it may be that the blue lady she's a guardian, and grumpy old man is just somebody that is just, he's just angry. It's kind of like, I don't necessarily, I don't want to say that it would be correct, but like perspectively, if you think about it, right? Like they say, like if you go under anesthesia, how you fall asleep is how you're going to wake up, right? Well, we don't scientifically know if, science hasn't proved by yet if there is anything that happens after death, right? Like there's personal experience, there's personal belief. But it could be that, let's say you pass over, depending on how you pass away is how you exist afterwards. It could just possibly be, but that's all hypothetical. It all goes back to science has not proven yet. There's personal belief and personal experience. So now there was something of mention, and I would love to get everybody else's perspective out there. And I want you guys to respond in the comments section with a big old giant red heart if you love the idea of this. I'm interested in the idea of this. And Drew here brought it up to my attention, and I'm going to let you announce that because you brought it to my attention, and I want everybody else to know so that way they can, if they're interested in it happening or not. And you had said something about your mom and your dad were interested in what?
An investigation.
So they're interested in an investigation. So this would entail both Panda, Drew, and myself doing an overnight stay in your home and doing an investigation. Now, this would be my first ever investigation, but I'm totally down for it. And like I said, I will bring all my gizmos and gadgets. We will figure out what we can do. And I think it'll be a fun experience. And if anything happens, maybe it'll be caught on camera. If not, you all will just be watching us freak out over nothing but a creaky floor. I mean, it'll be something interesting to watch. If you guys want to see that experience, if you guys are interested in that experience, just go ahead and comment down in the bottom, 100%, big red heart, and then we'll see what we can do. But I cannot make any guarantees. I can't make any guarantees. But Drew.
It's funny that you say creaking floor.
Oh. Is there something else? Is there?
Well, the grumpy old man, he'll wander up and down the hall.
That's right. Okay.
Stomping.
Okay, continue.
He will stomp down the hall, and that's how you know that he's still there. During the day, that everybody can be at the front, everybody can be in the back of the house, doesn't matter. Nobody can be moving.
Right.
And you'll just hear... and our floor creaks.
Okay, so I'm going to make a sound bite of that, and I'm going to use that in any other clips or anything else. Because I literally stop. Okay, so, yeah, so if there's, activity, when was the most recent experience that had happened at the house? Is it still recent? Is it still happening? I mean, I know you had your experience, which was relatively recent, right?
The last couple of years.
Last couple of years.
Yeah, because that was before we were, actually actively dating.
Okay.
And I have had other small things in the house, but it's not as big as that.
Okay. So do you remember what part of the month? Would you remember what part of the month or what part of the year that would have happened in?
It does not matter.
It doesn't matter. So it's just a random. Okay.
I will say, if the investigation thing does, go through, you're more than likely going to have the most experience with the grumpy old man.
Okay, well, I'm totally down for that.
Yeah,
I'm totally down for that.
People are not this entity's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm totally down for that. Can't wait to meet Mr. Old Grumpy. I will introduce myself. I hope he's okay with my flamboyant nature.
I mean, have you met me?
Yes, I've met. I've met you. I've met you. It has been very well determined that even Panda herself can confirm that both me and Drew, we have similarities.
Yeah, I married my best friend and my best friend.
Yeah, and then my spouse is very much like Panda, which is just kind of like, oh God.
So we know each other's pain.
Pretty much. So, okay, we're at 21 minutes and 5 seconds. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed today's episode with Ghost Experience. You guys can catch this on Apple Podcasts as well as iHeartRadio and a few other places. And by the way, also as a quick surprise and announcement to Panda, your episode and everything hit its first 1,000 listeners on iHeartRadio just yesterday. So that is amazing. If you want to catch that episode, I will link it up in the corner, and that is The Yellow Room and the Haunted Civil War. So anyways, big thank you to Drew and Panda for coming back. Clearly you guys love her. She happens to be wearing a panda onesie. If you guys, yeah, you guys can see her legs. Okay. Anyways, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Ta-ta!